Hey everybody, welcome to Hear Us Out. I'm Patrick.
And I'm Paul.
This time around we're talking about polarizing movies. Movies that some people love and some people hate.
We do videos every Tuesday and Thursday, so go check them out. They get released around 8 p.m. Our local time. So yeah. We have a whole bunch of other movies or videos that are really, really good, so you should check them out.
Do it, you'll love it. Like, subscribe, share, and while we're getting the housekeeping out of the way, big shout out to our friend Colin, who has his own podcast about video games that's called Last Save Loaded. The link will be in the description down below. Good on you, Colin. Fair play. Now, on with our show. We are talking about polarizing movies or divisive movies, whatever way you want to look at it. These are movies that, for some reason, have really split people. Maybe not always down the middle, but really are hard to get everybody on the same page.
Yeah, like it's one of those kind of things where you kind of go to a film and you go, oh, that was kind of a nice film. And then later on you're just like, oh, a lot of people hated this. But I don't understand that at all, you know? And that can be many different reasons, which we're going to go through. Yeah,
do you want to throw out the first great example? Because I know I fit the bill for this one.
Oh, which side? I'm going to ask you.
You're going to find out.
So Prometheus, the Alien prequel film, seemed to have polarized some people. As far as I'm aware, a lot of people hate it.
I'm one of those.
You're one of those people?
Yeah.
I'm also slightly, like, if it wasn't an Alien film...
I would say if it wasn't a really bad film, because that's what I class it as. Even if it wasn't anything to do with Alien, I think it's just a pretty bad film. It's got lots of bad stuff in it. It's got some good stuff, but way more bad.
See, I feel my thing is that I feel the expectation of this film was the reason that a lot of people got, as in some people were just like, it's, you know, Alien is my diehard fandom, I'm really into this, and then Prometheus came out and they were just like, this sucked, and then there was other people who were just like, that was a grand old sci-fi movie.
See, I disliked it so much in the cinema that I was like, you know what, I've got to see it again before I pass any judgment. And then I was sure. I watched it again and I was like, wow, look at all the bad things in that movie. It didn't make enough sense for nobody followed any sort of rational motivation. I'm not talking about sci-fi making sense. I'm talking about characters doing anything that makes any sort of logical sense for that character at that time.
I get that. There was a couple of character plot holes in there. Yeah. Very much so.
It really, I understand why there's two sides, but I think this is one of those, there was massive expectation, which let a lot of people down, but there was massive expectation which kept a lot of people on the train going, we are Ridley Scott's Alien fan club, which I originally would have been, because the Alien trilogy, I'm not counting the fourth one, I think is three of the greatest films of all time.
No Ron Perlman? No.
I love Ron. I do. I even, Winona Ryder, I have a soft spot for you. But that film, the problem with that film was that Alien and a lot of the rest of the film.
You have a problem with xenomorph wombs?
And the little crying face of, oh, I'm an alien, I'm going to bite you, but I look sad because we've given me, like, Care Bear eyes. Alien with Care Bear eyes, or whatever the hell they were coming up with. I don't know what a Care Bear. I was
going to say Care Bear eyes are small and, like, are they small and beardy or beady?
I don't know.
Not beardy.
Anime eyes. Can I say, like, what has just cartoonishly big childish eyes?
You can see it right here and see what we're talking about.
We've gone on far enough. So Prometheus is an example. That'll kick it off for you.
Yeah,
I think
Prometheus is an example of polarizing movies, but it's also the example of essentially expectation versus what you get kind of thing, you know? So, and so the next one.
Yeah, and I'll throw this one out there because I really love that this was divisive in the way that it was. This is an example of critics being a bit snooty and shitty and fans going, you know what, actually, if you just watch it and you don't have your head so far in the clouds, you might like it. And that film, my friends, is Venom. How you doing, Venom? I liked it. I didn't think it was amazing. I didn't think it was terrible. I really thought it was enjoyable. And it turns out almost $1 billion worth of other people felt the same way. Critics, on the other hand, did what, Paul?
Oh, they really shit on it.
From the get-go.
Like, I haven't seen a start of a critic shit show since probably, I can think of 300 when that one woman was just like, it's horrible, and then it turns out she hadn't actually watched the film. But that's a whole different story. But yeah, like from the straight off, critics seem to hate this movie, and like a lot of people that I went to see it with and stuff were just like, I don't understand. Like, I was going to laugh at this film because it was so bad, and I actually had fun. And I'm just like, I went to the film not knowing about the critics thing, so
that was good.
So my kind of expectation, or kind of like first thoughts of it, was literally what I saw. And my only thought in the entire film, other than I enjoyed it, was, what is it with the endings of certain films being really difficult to watch because they're just hard to see?
Yeah, well, we were going through that period of, everything was a little too dark on screen. There was a few films around that time where things were just too dark, I think.
But otherwise, it's a great movie.
Yeah.
Not great, but it's a good movie. It's an enjoyable movie, and that's not based on expectations or anything.
No, genuinely, I went in not expecting something great, and it wasn't because of the critics' reaction. I figured that might be a load of BS. I just wasn't expecting that much from it, from the trailers, etc. But I thought, we'll see what this is like. Went in, came out happy, going, that was a really enjoyable film. There was some funny lines, there was some great moments, bit of a ending issue, as a lot of films do have. But there you go. And then when because I saw it pretty early on, I saw it opening night here. Oh my God, the critics had started piling on, and they just kept piling on through that weekend. And by the Monday, it was great, because the box office numbers started coming in, and I was like, cool, I don't agree with critics, but loads of actual people don't as well. So there's another example. Sometimes it's, what's the difference between critics and real people? The next one up, though, I think is a good example of something else completely.
This is Hateful Eight, which is a Quentin Tarantino film. Is based in the kind of West. I believe it was released on Netflix quite quickly on.
Yes, yeah, I saw it. Yeah.
So this is a kind of different polarizing, because this is diehard fans of a director versus people who are like, I guess, the general goers. I can't even say the general goers. Because this one's a little bit more of an interesting one, because it doesn't have a specific set of reasons why. I didn't like it because Quentin Tarantino is really good at making characters, but the plot in which those characters have to evolve around, I fucking hate.
Which I completely understand, because I'm kind of with you, but kind of not on Hateful Eight. I liked it in the way I like a Tarantino movie. I agree the plot was a little bit ropey in spots, but for me it was another thing that Tarantino always does, or not does, but regularly does. One of his Achilles heels. He doesn't know how to end a movie. I don't think he ends movies well always. He has had a few good out of his 9 movies, but there is a definite sense that he finds it difficult to go, all right, it's now over and this is how I wanted to end it. And Hateful Eight is the ultimate expression in that, because it almost has 8 endings, or 8 attempts at ending. He keeps coming back, making slightly more film for a few minutes, and then going, now it's over. Actually, no, 1 minute, I got a little bit more. And I was like, oh God, it just grated on me after watching such a long film that evolved the way it did.
Yeah, I get you.
Why people loved it and why people hated it, there's a little bit of fanboyness, for Tarantino. I think, though, a lot of people it mixes in with that expectations. I think Hateful Eight, a lot of people were expecting something that they didn't get.
Do you think, do you think that this one, it's not the most polarizing, as in they're not going the furthest away from each other, but do you think this has the most branches?
Probably,
one of the films that has the most branches of reasons why people either liked it or hated it.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of nuance to why people are so for it or so against it. I don't think the people who love it all love it for the exact same reason.
Yeah.
I'd agree with that, yeah. Actually, this is a good time to turn it over to the audience. I would love to know what you guys all think of what should have been on this list, what isn't on this list, but particularly around Hateful Eight, if you've seen it. Are you in or out? And give us maybe a reason why, because I think you're right, there'll be a very varied response to that.
Yeah. Just to mention, once again, these are examples. We're not listing them out as the most polarized or anything. Yeah. These are just ones that we picked and going like, oh, that maybe is the reason we polarized.
Yeah.
So do you want to go on to the next one?
Yeah, well, Batman versus Superman is our next little example, because we tried to pick examples that are showing all the different sides of why movies are divisive or polarizing or split people's opinion. And I think Batman versus Superman is very particular in that and I don't want to steal Paul's eloquent way of putting it, but it wasn't that people just went in with expectations. It's that when they saw it, there was enough good there that it could have been better. So it was disappointing for a lot of people, and that pushed them into really hating it because they didn't get what they wanted.
Yeah, and then obviously the other way that people went is they could see the potential in the film itself. So you kind of had this kind of weird mix, which is like everyone went in with mixed feelings, and then they watched the film and they came out going like, it had potential, so why the fuck didn't it do well? Like, or why didn't they do this and why didn't they do that? And then the other people were like, it had potential, so it's a decent film. It just, it just didn't fulfill its potential.
Yeah. And I guess, and we've done videos that have involved mentioning it before. We did a Batman, we did a Batman list. God, we've got to get one in there in every video now. Check out those cards. I think I can't remember exactly what I said, but I did not hate Batman versus Superman. I hated large sections of Batman versus Superman, and I was one of those people that was kind of resentful, going, there was so much good there. If you only watch these parts of it, it's not a bad film. Like, you could almost re-edit it, and I'm not talking about a Snyder cut here, people. You could almost re-edit it and actually go, see, if you only saw all those, you would be going, this is terrible. You'd just be going, I hope the rest of the film's as good as that. Which it wasn't.
Yeah, I think in that Batman thing we put it in the middle.
Yeah, middle bottom. Yeah, but I think it's because there was some real clangers at the bottom. Guess what they were, kids? Don't forget, check out the video. There it is. I'm going to keep going for that one.
Batman and Robin. That's the whole thing, is it had potential, so people kind of got polarized in that fashion, going like, it had so much potential, and other people were like, it had so much potential, kind of thing. So
it's all about the intonation. And I think that brings us on to like the big examples, the ones you've all already probably been shouting, because you either have a friend like we do, his name is Rob or Robert. He's always wanting a shout out in the video because he's always complaining about a film, and it's usually this one. Rob hates Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi. I don't hate the Rian Johnson Star Wars Last Jedi. I understand that there seems to be two camps, the people who hate it and the people who don't. I don't know if there's a third camp of people who love it. Because that's the thing. I don't think this is polarizing, that there's love and hate. I think there's, I don't hate it, and then I really hate it.
Yeah. I would say that, because I don't hate it. That's the perfect, when you were just like, there's people who hate it, and then I don't, and I'm just like, that is the perfect way that I would describe myself, actually.
I actually, in fact, like lots of it, and I know there are some things that they changed in the story that close off avenues and yada yada yada. They didn't use Snoke, and I completely agree with, when I came out of the film, the first thing I said was, what was with Mary Poppins? Why was Leia flying along? Insert shot here if we can find it. Oh my God, that was weird.
That's funny, because but the only thing that I came out was, did that boy move the broom at the end with his that was the only thing that I came out of that movie going, did that boy just move that thing with the broom with the Force? Is that what?
Is he Force?
And then the other there's a few plot points there that I was just like, well, this is bullshit.
Look, there's lots of reasons to pick on the movie and lots of things to not like. I get that. But the absolute hatred comes from a place that I can't quite get on board with. And I'm not saying I don't respect your opinion, whoever you might be. It's that I can't get on board with that level of, this is the worst film ever, it is destroying everything. I don't see it. I think you were going to burp. I'm sorry.
I was also thinking that I was going to burp. I think this is where we come, because Prometheus, we were saying that Ridley Scott's fans really kind of went for it and liked it and stuff like that. I think this is the opposite to that, which is the Star Wars diehard fans went the opposite side to it. Whereas it's like, this isn't Star Wars. Yeah, maybe. It's a very loose story. And they probably had, like, it could be a mixture of a lot of stuff. They could have had certain expectations of what the Rey character was going to go through and what the Kylo Ren character was going to go through, and Snoke and all that kind of stuff. And then, like, the potential that was there. I think this could be a mixture of essentially all the things that we said in the
That's a really good point. I hadn't actually thought of it. I think you might be right. You're onto something there, I think. But yeah, look, I'm a Star Wars fan. I can call myself that, and I didn't go that way on it. Having said that, one of the other divisive films was the film just before it, Episode 7, Force Awakens. People had all sorts of reactions to that I wasn't expecting. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. I thought it was quite clever to do what they did. They had to be very careful when they were kind of restarting the franchise after what was a fairly rough 3 prequels. But yeah, so look, I respect your opinion, but I think when it comes to why would we mention this when it comes to Polarizing, it is a good example of sometimes it's not the love and the hate. It's the why do you hate it so much and the I really hate it. And I think maybe it's the best existing example of that.
Yeah, like people hate this at a -10, and then there's people who like it are at like a +3.
And then I think now we're going to move on to our last couple of mentions. And this is a great way to roll out to the end of the video because there'll be a lot of emotion for the next few minutes, people. Strap yourself in. I myself could either shout or cry depending on what is said. Up next, no pressure.
Up next, which is the winner of our tourney, Birdman.
Birdman. You like it?
I do.
He's being careful because I love it. I picked it as one of the great cinematic masterpieces in the last.
And I enjoyed it, and I think I can't come in anywhere to the level of your enjoyment of the film. But
which is completely fair enough.
But I will defend it. You know? Film.
And I think that's the thing. Like, I am a rabid Birdman fan. That sounded weird. But I think it's a good example of I'm not going to go apeshit at somebody who says, it's not great. That's not where it's polarizing. It's when people start going, oh, you really love it. You're just being all filmy about it. It's the one where people just want to be, you're being such a, ooh, I like movies. That's where the polarizing nature comes. People are like, it's too far up its own arse, and you only like it because you're too far up your own arse. And those two camps, that's a phrase for anybody who hasn't heard that phrase before. I wish I had another way to explain that, but I don't.
Which phrase?
Full of yourself. I used up your own arse as maybe not.
Yeah.
Full of yourself for everybody else in the world who isn't Irish.
Is fine.
Yeah, I don't know how well that'll play in. Our Brazilian friends, please let us know if that's a phrase you would use. Yeah, but the elitist nature, a lot of people called Birdman elitist, and that's where the polarized division was. People who are like, I'm too cool to try and be that cool and like it. I on purpose don't like it. I'm so cool. There was a little bit of gamesmanship to that shit. It's a really good movie. If you don't like it, I get it. It's a really good movie for me. If it's not a really good movie for someone else, let's move on. But there's definitely two camps of people trying to be to something.
Yeah, see, that's an interesting one because is it a choice in the kind of sense that there's a lot of people who are just like, I don't like it, but it's a choice rather than kind of like, I understand that all of these are actual choices, but there's a feeling to them.
Yeah.
Whereas is when people say I hate Birdman because it was a conscious choice of this going, I actually kind of like the film, but fuck that film for being so snobby.
I think there are people, because the vast majority of people either liked it or didn't like it. The polarized people are the ones that want to make a big deal out of how much they love it, i.e. me, or how much they hate it, i.e. the other people. I do think there are people who just didn't like it, but then kind of went, and yeah, fuck you, film.
Okay, yeah, no, see, that's what I was thinking, because as I said, I like the film, and I will defend it in certain respects. I will not defend it as much as you will.
Yeah, which is fair enough.
But when people I've talked to have just gone, yeah, I probably won't. I enjoyed that I watched it once, but I will not enjoy. I will not watch it again.
Well, that's fair enough. Like I remember I went to the cinema with 4 people. One of them was my wonderful wife. We came out of it, and she went, yeah, not too sure. She watched it with me because she had to a few times since, and she's like, I enjoy it more now, and it wasn't me trying to brainwash her, don't worry. But at the time, I remember her looking at me, and we have a great relationship in this respect, that she's like, yeah, not for me, I don't think. She wasn't going, that's terrible. She was like, nah, yeah, maybe not for me right now. And I was like, oh my God, that was such a great experience. I loved it. She completely got where I was coming from. I completely got where she was coming from. Mm-hmm. In the following weeks and months, there was just people going, a Birdman's for people who think they're like film students or something, which I can honestly say I don't think I am. I know I am on the wrong side of most decisions when it comes to films.
You're not a student. You're a master.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you're too old to be a student. Okay, so what do you think? Do you think that covers it for those?
I think we got a good collection there of movies and stuff like that kind of tell the different stories of the polarizing movie or decisive.
Yeah.
Deceive. I keep getting that word wrong. What was it?
Divisive.
Divisive.
Yeah.
Divisive.
Polarizing.
But yeah, I think we covered a good kind of like cross section of a lot of films. Like I know we were using kind of a lot more kind of superhero films and stuff like that. But then again, with the fandom, you do get that kind of like more raw kind of thing. Because we've had, like, as we said, Green Book has been like one of them, which we looked up, but it didn't follow a particular reason why. It was just one of those things where
Green Book was weird because I really liked it, you really liked it, and then a load of people were like, oh, it shouldn't have even been in the Oscars, it's too blah and too middle of the road. I actually thought it was a really well made, beautiful movie that I enjoyed very, very much, and I'm glad it was in the Oscars.
Yeah. And then we were it's an interesting cross section.
So is there any one more that you would like to finish on? I think so.
Yeah, there's a big smile there because me and Patrick have a very kind of this is a polarizing film, which we are definitely seen as on the wrong side too, and that is Watchmen.
Yep.
And we fucking love that film.
Damn right we do. And I'd like to point at the camera now and go, if you don't, you need to try harder.
Like, yeah, you do.
Well, okay, to be more serious about it, I think Watchmen had to be mentioned because similar to Birdman, I think there's some people who wanted to not like it, etc. But I think more importantly, it falls into a category all of its own, where some people watched it and didn't really let it sink in or engage it on its terms, if you know what I mean. They wanted it to be something else, and when it wasn't, they were like, why wasn't your man that looked like Superman, why wasn't he Superman? Your man that was like Batman, why wasn't he Batman? A little bit of weird stuff like that, where they're like, why wasn't it the film I wanted?
Yeah.
And that's a bit of a problem. Also, anybody who came out of it and went, oh, the big massive naked guy with the big gigantic glowing blue member, if that's what you come out of that film thinking or talking about, you probably weren't paying attention. No, you weren't. You're probably too interested in that. Well, but be interested all you want, but it's certainly not the point of the film. But like, that's the thing, is a lot of people went in there thinking it was going to be a superhero film, but it's not. It's actually just a vigilante film, and which is different in the fact that these are regular people. They are just trained and physically fit to the highest, to a little bit higher than what would be normal, and kind of thing. And there's only one actual superhero in it. And like, it just, a lot of the characters are kind of like, you know, subtle and nuanced and stuff like that are kind of, they're a little bit deeper than what they've seen, or what they're perceived to be. And I think a lot of people missed that. And but once again, we're seen on the wrong side. So so if you don't like something that's beautifully shot, did you really just give people the finger out of the corner of my eye? I like The Watchmen. It's staying in. It's if you don't like beautifully shot, nuanced social commentary, then don't watch it. That's cool. But please stop running around saying that it's terrible, because that's just really annoying. Because I also think that the length, I think a lot of people were bothered by the length. And if you're bothered by the length, then you're bothered by a lot easier things than that. Yeah, I think we've probably said enough on that one. I'm not saying that you have to like it. No. It's more if you're going out of your way to say that you didn't like it because you couldn't give it the attention. There's lots of stuff. I know that I'm on the wrong side of history when it comes to Gosford Park. I'm sure it's a great film. I just knew I wasn't engaging with it properly, and that was on me, not on it. That's why I've never called it a bad film, and I keep using it as an example of me being just unfair to a film. I didn't engage properly, so if I didn't enjoy it, that was on me. There you go. So anyway, Polarizing Movies. Give us any kind of movies that have really kind of set you off in either kind of direction. Give us a reason why Hateful Eight may have you liked it or not, and give us the reason why you hate Watchmen, because we know you're going to do it anyway. Yeah, and if you've watched this long, I want you to know that this was a 5-minute video when we started, so look at how long it is right now and you'll see how far we've overshot. I've been Patrick. And I've been Paul. And we've been Heroes Out. Take care. Right. Okay, I can do this. Maybe I can't. Let's find out. Hey, everybody. Shit. Not the giggles. Not the giggles. Not the giggles. The giggles. Fucking giggles.